Mrparka here to review another Mondo Macabro film. This is a Lifespan right here. A lot of people, it will catch your attention basically because Klaus Kinski's in here, but it's kind of fooling them. He's not in it too much. He does play a small, but as the director said, pivotal role. He plays a small but pivotal role. Well, the DVD says that. Anyways, what we have here is this kind of like this science fiction type mystery thriller type deal. This doctor, he's a young doctor, he's handsome, probably pretty much on top of his game. He's obsessed with finding the cure for immortality, to live longer. And he meets up with another doctor in Amsterdam who is set on doing that too. And he realizes this doctor's kind of strange, he seems weird, he feels like he's getting older. And the second day, this doctor basically kills himself. And that kind of messes the guy up, and he decides to stay in his room where he killed himself. Really bizarre there, he has nowhere else to stay. And he starts dwelling into the guy's notes, and he figures out that this guy was closer to finding the cure for old age. They call it a cure now, they're looking at old age as a disease. They find he was closer than they had believed he was. He was very close to finding it. And anyways, Klaus Kinski's kind of this mysterious character in the background in the shadows the whole time. And he starts getting intertwined with the guy who committed, what's his name? The doctor who committed suicides, ex-girlfriend, and she knows more than she's leading on. The whole town knows a lot more than that they're saying, and they kind of lead him to find the right variables. He ends up going to this old folks' home where the old doctor performed all these experiments, and he finds out a whole bunch of nice twists and turns, and by the end, the film's pretty good, pretty satisfying, and thought it was all around a really well-made, good story with a lot of turns. The film has good cinematography, it's beautifully shot, it's in Amsterdam, great locations, the score's great, everything about the film is professionally well done. It was made on a budget, but you really probably can't tell. A lot of the 70s movies made on a budget, sometimes you can't tell, and this is definitely one of those. The cinematography was great, the setting was great, the concepts are probably a huge part about this film that I thought were really cool. It kind of has the concept that when you're for science, sometimes you will be committing acts that may be atrocious. At one point, it brings in Nazis. There's a picture at the Anne Frank Museum in the film, and it kind of brings up that idea of doing whatever you can for science. Maybe you'd be saving more lives in the long run, but it's kind of that moral issue there.
It's as simple as that. Look at this, for instance. The Nazis measured noses. If it was big, you were a Jew.
Really?
We forget. The Nazis were obsessed with their idea of the 1,000-year Reich, the superior race.
Hey, Dad.
That's how they justified packing human guinea pigs in concentration camps. Look at this. Look.
Listen.
People with their brains cut open, maybe while they were still alive, for medical experiments.
Daddy. Listen, you know those pictures are for sale downstairs.
All right, come on, let's go.
Oh, can't we buy some? Yeah.
What?
Can't we take some back with us? I want to show my friends.
Where to?
Dad, wait a minute for the experiment.
They're so fond of Dr. Linden. He would come with his little boxes and blocks to test them. To them, it was a game. There was one woman, she said to him, "I want to play the game." And then he recognized her. She was once the cleaning lady in his building, and now she was here. So he used her also in his study.
And also religion's brought into it with the devil and everything, whatnot, people being swayed by the devil. That's what these superstitious town people seem to believe. Klaus Kinski's made reference to kind of as the devil character at certain points in this film. At one point he buys this mask in a museum that was actually during when Nazi Germany invaded Amsterdam. The mask was for Faust in the play, the devil, Faust, or the play that involves the devil, and he buys the mask and later on he's wearing it.
Tomorrow, she said, he would be visiting his favorite antique store. I was being granted an audience. much you want for that?
Through here.
I think that's one of the best pieces in my shop.
Hello?
Oh, Nicholas Ulrich took the land. We should have met sooner. Max, leave us alone.
Linden worked for a Swiss firm, I'm told.
Yes.
It is an old, established one.
What was he testing for you?
You mean on mice?
I mean on people. Why didn't it work?
Careful, Ben. He's a monster.
Shut up, Anna. You think of this. Max claims this mask was used in '37 when Faust was performed for the Nazis. But all Amsterdam dealers are thieves.
Can we please talk about Linden?
Pity is, the poor fool killed himself too soon. He never found out he had succeeded.
What?
He thought they would all die.
But didn't they?
Why don't you go back to the old age home and ask about Emil van der Lutke?
Emil van der...
Just ask for Emil who plays the piano. You won't need your assistant. There are no graves to dig up this time.
The film also is infamous for this bondage scene, which seems almost out of place. It's not horribly graphic. It's not ridiculously sickening or anything, of course. I mean, bondage isn't really super disturbing when you're thinking about horror films or anything, but the bondage scene is kind of light, pretty enjoyable, I guess I'd say, but it's not anything excruciatingly extreme. The film, originally it was actually edited a long time ago, I guess, but the film has a kind of weird place to fit in it. It's not like this horrific horror film for the 70s. It can't be really aimed at a certain audience, so it kind of didn't really get the recognition it deserved. But all in all, it's a really good movie, and I think a lot of people will find it and enjoy it. In the special features, it said that the bad dubbing, or the dubbing, kind of took it down a notch. Instead of being like considered an art house movie, it was considered kind of like this Euro cult horror thing. But it doesn't really fit into that category either. It's kind of its own category. It's an intelligent film that tackles the issue of immortality and science and all sorts of things. And a lot of good shots, pretty good acting, and Klaus Kinski. But the DVD comes with all features, insight on the movie, interviews with the director, which is pretty cool, and actually an audio commentary where he dwells into the movie. But anyways, that is my review of Lifespan for Mondo Macabro. Pretty decent movie again, better DVD release. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good one.
My father is a well-known plastic surgeon in Indianapolis, so it was only natural that I go into a field of science. But I chose a field that may change the future of the human species. When I arrived at the University of Amsterdam, they thought I was too young to be the Dr. Benjamin Land whose research papers were starting to be talked about even here. We may even have to move off this aging planet in order to survive. But someday, we'll look back and wonder how we ever tolerated life with death. After all, how can you be satisfied with something that has to end?